A character who went through quite a significant change in Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and that was Piccolo. Piccolo had quite an interesting character development. It was done quite incredibly just because of how he went from being a bad guy to being a good guy. He changed to become one of Goku's greatest allies. So today, guys, I just want to talk about how Piccolo changed in the series of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. And Dragon Ball, there was King Piccolo, Piccolo's father, and he had a fight with Goku, and Goku defeated King Piccolo, and moments before his death, King Piccolo spat out an egg, which, you guessed it, spawned the birth of Piccolo. Piccolo Jr. and Goku meet for the first time after 3 years. There was some tension between the two. Piccolo and Goku fight. It was pretty brutal for their first ever fight and their only fight ever in Dragon Ball. And it got to this point where Goku let Piccolo live. Goku was showing Piccolo mercy, and because of Goku showing Piccolo mercy, he wanted to let Piccolo live, and he wanted to fight Piccolo again some point in the future. 5 years later, Piccolo had to join up with Goku to try to find Gohan and stop Raditz. Piccolo didn't want anything to do with Goku because all he cared about was taking over the world. Piccolo finishes off Goku and Raditz with the Special Beam Cannon, and funny enough, Piccolo was one of the only characters of Dragon Ball Z to ever kill Goku. Piccolo takes Gohan. They start their training. Training was brutal. He really wanted to make sure Gohan was in shape and he was ready to take on the Saiyans. The old Piccolo wouldn't have done this, and he was becoming more willing to train his greatest rival's son. And it was just kind of neat to see because Piccolo actually did care in some way. Even if he didn't, state that he didn't care. Piccolo became a great mentor to Gohan. And that's why Gohan really started to follow Piccolo and started to really enjoy Piccolo and his company because of what Piccolo did. And it's almost like when Piccolo sacrificed himself against the Saiyans, it was neat to see. So Piccolo sacrificed himself. Kami disappears. Now, who's Kami? Well, Kami pertains pretty much to Piccolo because Kami and Piccolo used to be the same person. Kami and Piccolo separated, and now that's basically their whole story. Kami is the good version of the Namek, and Piccolo was, during this time, the evil version. Piccolo was pretty much missing in action throughout most of the whole entire Namek saga until the whole fight with Frieza happened. I mean, yeah, he did have his moment in Otherworld where he trained with Yamcha and Tien and Chaozu. Frieza showed up, Piccolo came back, and he was revived back into Namek to fight Frieza. So Piccolo and Nail fused together. Piccolo has this new power where he can take down Frieza, but then Frieza transforms. Frieza pretty much overwhelmed Piccolo, Gohan, Krillin, and Vegeta. Piccolo really did evolve throughout that short time he spent with Gohan, and he even said that during his death. It's almost like that softness rubbed off on him. Piccolo was so feared by Goku and the other Z fighters, and now it's just like he's just a part of their team. It's almost like when he got revived back, it was like it was his second chance to try again and to try to be better in terms of a character. And that's just something I kind of noticed, is when he got revived back, he was completely different. Piccolo goes back to Earth with the rest of the Z fighters. The Namekians wanted to go back to their own home planet, so they left. Piccolo stays. A whole year passes. The Z fighters find out that Goku is going to be coming back to Earth, and obviously, everybody goes and meets up, getting ready to take down Frieza because Frieza apparently was coming back as well. Trunks kills Frieza, Goku came back, Piccolo, Goku, and Gohan all train for the full 3 years, and then as the 3 years are up, they all go to fight the androids, and Goku has his heart virus. Vegeta comes and saves Goku. He takes down Android 19. All the Z fighters lose to Android 17 and 18. Piccolo got mad at Krillin when Krillin said, that they were friends, Piccolo threatened that he was still going to take over the world, and he was still on his quest for world domination. Piccolo wasn't really being serious. It was more so like he was bluffing at this point, because it's almost like deep down he kind of knew that Goku and Vegeta pretty much outmatched him. In order to increase his strength, Piccolo went to the lookout and he saw Kami. If Piccolo was to fuse with Kami, he was going to become just as strong as a Super Saiyan. But they were going to call this the Super Namek. Piccolo joins with Kami. He's got increased strength. And apparently during this whole time when he was about to fuse with Kami, there was another threat going around. And as you guys already know, Piccolo found the threat, and it was Cell. They had a quick little fight. Piccolo held his own against Cell. Cell gets away. And so for the next few days, they're trying to buy some time in terms of what can they do to stop Cell, because at this point of the show, the androids were a pretty big part, but Cell was more of a menace because of how he was getting rid of everybody. He was killing off innocent people. The androids show up to where Piccolo, Krillin, and Tien and Yamcha were all hiding at, and Piccolo states that he wanted to fight Android 17. So these two have their fight, but the thing was 17 wasn't stronger than Piccolo during this time. 17 stated that Piccolo may be stronger than him, but it doesn't change the fact that 17 doesn't run out of energy. Piccolo just looks over, and they see that Cell arrived. And as you guys already know, Cell's whole objective was to become perfect by absorbing 17 and 18. Piccolo and Cell have a second fight. Piccolo gets destroyed by Cell. Goku comes to the rescue. He saves Piccolo and Tien after Tien launched an attack on Cell, after Cell just absorbed 17. They go back to the lookout. Now, at this point, Piccolo was more so just on the sidelines, because at this point, it was essentially they were just trying to push Goku and Gohan and Vegeta and Trunks to trying to stop Cell. Piccolo didn't even want Gohan to fight Cell, and it was kind of interesting to see because Piccolo trained Gohan from the beginning, and he wanted Gohan to be a strong fighter. But seeing how Piccolo didn't even want Gohan to partake in fighting Cell, it's just kind of interesting to see how he really did care for Gohan. It was also interesting how when Gohan and Cell had their beam struggle, and even though the Z fighters weren't able to get anything on Cell, Piccolo was determined to make sure that they could stop Cell because Gohan was Piccolo's only friend. And because of this, Piccolo learned what a true friend was through mentoring Gohan. And it was just so neat to see because Piccolo finally had that friend in his life. So they finished off Cell, and Piccolo's arc was essentially complete. Piccolo really grew throughout the whole entire series. I think most people don't really recognize how special Piccolo really was during this time of Dragon Ball Z because we mainly are just focused on Goku or Vegeta or the other Saiyans. And seeing how Piccolo was a very vital part to the entire story of Dragon Ball Z, it's just really neat to see how he had the same thing, just kind of like Vegeta. He didn't do as much in the Majin Buu saga. I mean, yeah, he was training Goten and Trunks to become Gotenks. It's like, it was cool to see him finally reach his full development throughout all of Dragon Ball Z. He didn't do as much, but he was still important to the story in terms of teaching Goten and Trunks how to fuse and everything. Vegeta was talking to Piccolo about how if he fights and dies, will he see Goku in the other world? It was so interesting to see this point too because Piccolo was speaking to Vegeta. It's almost like Piccolo knew the trauma Vegeta went through. It's almost like Piccolo was being the older brother in this situation to Vegeta. He was giving a heartfelt conversation to Vegeta, because Piccolo was the only character I felt like that truly understands Vegeta, just because of how they have a very similar story in Dragon Ball Z. I like how they changed in the show and both became the best versions of themselves. But yeah, there's not really much else to say. I mean, he didn't really have any fights in the Buu saga, so there's not really much really left for me to say. But yeah, that's all I have to say for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys think of Piccolo, and let me know, Did you guys enjoy how he changed throughout the whole entire series? I'd really like to hear that. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace!